Hi, I can't remember how long it's been, but it's been a bit. I had a dream this morning about something, and I can't remember it, and I have been having some dreams lately, only vague bits of it, but it hasn't been sticking in my head enough, and about it, I need to get better at when I wake up from a dream, I need to record it, because, what happens is I'm still tired, and I kind of really enjoy the dream and want to go back to it, and I'll never get the dream back, and that's more likely it is, the more realistic it is. Anyway, I went on a day holiday with my family, and I'm getting better at using the dreams because I was accurately able to predict where the lift was going. There was an set of elevators, and I recognized it. I was able to predict what was going on with the elevators based on the dream. I was able to remember the whole thing, which is cool. It ended up being useless and doing nothing because I was too embarrassed to say I knew the lift was going to stop here anyway, and there was no point, and I could just wait here because I might as well just wait in the lift, and it really changed nothing in the end. But it was cool. I was able to do that, and also predict where the lift was coming a few more times based purely on that, because we have a game where we predict where the elevator's going, and I wouldn't say anything where the lift was going because I just guessed mentally in my head, and I did it. Based on the memories of the dreams, which is progress, I think? I don't know what else to call it, but it was mildly terrifying. So anyway, church was good. Church was great. Yeah. Last 2 sermons have been really awesome, really challenging, and it's all about paradoxes. Paradoxes. Yeah. Paradoxical nature of Christianity. It makes no sense. Anyway, I had an epiphany. We had Alpha tonight. I was at Alpha and people were talking, and I realized something. There's this thing about other religions and Christianity, and where I never quite understood how important it was, but in other religions, you're working on yourself. You're trying to reach perfection to get into heaven. That's the aim. Christianity, you come as you are, and I think that's a big difference. And statistically, at least in Australia, if you're Christian, Christians are more likely to do things like prison ministry, chaplaincy in schools, chaplaincy in the army, and globally, they're just more likely to start actual charities. But we don't actually know employees but I don't use that as statistics because while they do to start more charities, they have been around in Western culture more, so that's not really, in my mind, isn't a viable option because other groups probably then join these charities because it's an easy way and they're already established brands. So you don't want to crowd shit too much, and just because they're Christian, they're not necessarily vocally Christian, so it's not like things like Blue Care and Lifeline are Christian organizations, but they're still charity organizations and they're still doing good work. So it's not like obviously they're funded by the church, but that's all it's really doing. The funding comes from the church, but actual volunteers, I don't know what the actual volunteer demographics are, which is why I go by things I do know the graphics of, which are things like prison ministry and chaplaincy in churches and chaplaincy in the army and in schools. And I do know there are more Christians doing this than there are Muslims and Buddhists and whatever, because they just don't. And sometimes they complain about it, but none of them are willing to step up to them. But you also won't see them stepping up to the plate. Or it'll be people who aren't of those faiths complaining, and then it's yeah, we'd love to have that, but no one's actually volunteered to be our chaplain. And we've got these people who are or volunteered to be the RE teacher. These people have volunteered to be the RE teacher, and you're saying we should reject them just because we don't have anyone. We should reject them and have no religious education. It's yeah, sure, they might be a bit biased, but we can but we're going to require them to teach about all religions, and maybe they'll be a bit biased, but it's the best we can do because you're going to have to reach out to that local area because no one's sending people currently. And the more multicultural areas will probably more likely have more people, but it's kind of that mentality of just as a nation, there are more of these because there are more volunteers from these groups. It's not that they don't like diversity, it's that diversity's hard to come by because they're less willing, and you have to actually, basically the best way to describe it is Christians go and ask where there's opportunities where they can do this, and other things are and whereas the on the flip side, schools have to reach out to these groups and go, do you have anyone that you could do this for us, because we kind of would like to share that. And it's kind of like the burden's put on the school to go out and find a person, whereas Christianity puts the burden on us to go and put people out there. There's a difference of thing of, and I kind of figured out what it was. Like, in other religions, you're told to better yourself. You have to be better to reach heaven. And it doesn't matter how many times it says charity works and whatever, that this is the key to being a good person. You're just not going to have this community mind-focused person, someone who's a Christian, who basically is told from day dot that you don't matter. That humanity matters, that everyone else matters, everyone matters as a group. God loves you and he loves you individually, but he also loves everyone else individually, and in the scheme of things, you don't really matter. And that's a really freeing thing of going, I can make mistakes, I can mess up, I can go to someone and say, hey, do you need help? And they go, and you can maybe have worsened someone's day, and it won't impact you anymore because you were trying to do the right thing. You're not going to always get it right. It's the reason it's a broken Christian channel, because I'm a perfectionist. It's taking me a while to admit it because, like, I'm terrible, and, like, grades in my mind was the idea, like, being perfect at academia was, like, what perfection was viewed as, but it was, like, that was never perfection for me because, I'm sorry, I have ADHD, and that was never on the cards for ever doing that. Like, that was never going to be a thing I could do, but I wanted to be the kindest person, and everyone liked me, and, like, I also kind of didn't want everyone to like me because I didn't, like, but at the same time, I didn't really care if, like, I didn't want everyone to be everyone's friend. I just wanted to be kind and everyone to see me that way because if I wasn't, not everyone saw me as kind, that meant I wasn't being kind, and you see where it's going here? Like, I wasn't the kind of person who's, like, wanted to be everyone's friend, but I didn't want anyone to hate me, because then that meant there was something wrong with me. As I've grown older, I've started to realize that's not true. It's now on them. And maybe also on me. Maybe I did do something shitty and do need to apologize, but also it's like, sometimes we're just human and we make mistakes, and people really need to stop holding grudges, and that's like... My mom once said I was a hypocrite, and I don't think I've really been a hypocrite. Like, I've definitely been a hypocrite, but I've also never been more of a hypocrite than she is currently. Which is, I don't know how to say that to her. I feel like a lot of healing would come from that, by expressing that. I don't want to offend her or be mean or disrespect her, because she is my mother, and I love her, and I don't want her to not think I don't. But it's the truth. I have always been better than her, and she's always made me be better than her. I was 14, she was 30. She was 30 when she had me. I wasn't even half her age, and I was supposed to be better than her when I was 1. Hard thing for a child to get. And yeah, maybe I don't know if she quite recognizes that I'm human yet. Because she says she's not perfect, and that she acknowledges that, and she's trying to get better, and but half the time I feel like I'm the problem when I'm around her. But I'm the one making mistakes, and I don't know how to fix that. Because, sure, I made mistakes, but I don't... But a lot of them are the mistakes that she made. And I'm trying to fix them, but I don't even know how she fixed them, and I don't know if she has. Which is a thing to think about. But yeah, back on topic. Christianity, it inherently, it gets you going out there. There's something inherently about it that we're talking about. It's something inherently about Christianity that will go out there and actually try and convert people in a way other religions don't do. And you might go, but there are people on this platform who are telling about their culture and stuff, and like that's different. That's just categorically different. Like, one, yes, Christians definitely do that and try and explain what the fuck's going on and what's going on, because, like, modern society has many misconceptions, some of which are made by the Catholic Church, which technically have their own religion under Catholicism, which doesn't necessarily fully agree with the Bible, and they also added things and took away things, and Christianity is so fucking confusing. I don't know whether angels are real or not. Well, obviously angels are real, but, like, Gabriel is, I think, maybe a name somewhere in the Bible, but then they named a whole other bunch. And they prayed to Mary. Like, why would you pray to Mary? That doesn't make sense on anything on the Bible. Ah! So, like, it's just that kind of thing. I'm like, I don't know what's going on there. And then things like the idea of the devil is from Catholicism, and maybe he's real, maybe he's not. I don't know. I genuinely don't know, and I don't know enough about how they came to those possibilities to know, but I do know that the devil's real in some ways, and it's confusing, and I just try and avoid all that shit because it doesn't make sense in my mind, and it doesn't make sense to who I am, and in a lot of ways the devil isn't real, but the devil is real. The devil is real in the sense that the enemy of God is real, and death is real, and everything anti-God is real, and I just don't think it's the way we think it is. I don't know, it's got really off track, but basically, the end of what I'm saying is, I said at the beginning of this that I didn't care what you believe when you come to this channel, and that's true. And it's also true that I'm not here trying to convert you and shove Christianity down your throat. But at the same time, but that's not accurate. What I said, the second thing is accurate. I don't want to be shoving Christianity down your throat and I don't want to force it on you. I just want you to prevent the options and hope that I present it in such a way that you choose Christianity because it's the light. And I hear people say that religion is a crutch, and maybe other religions are a crutch because they're all about bettering yourself, whereas Christianity is not about bettering yourself, it's about being bettered. And I think that's the fundamental difference. One is about, this is a system by which you can better yourself, this is a system by which you will be made better. And there's a difference in that, because one could say Christianity is a crutch and maybe you're weaker for needing it, but at the same time, it's also everyone needs it because no one can actually better themselves. And people who claim to be moral, well, maybe you are moral, but you're not necessarily loving. There's this question that haunts me, and I always, day after day, if I ever meet that woman in person, I want to fucking ask her, how much did she give away to charity? Because she's on there, so she probably earns a lot of money, and I want to know what her job is and what she, how much she earns and how much she fucking gives away to charity, because I don't even know the calculation of cost of living, but like, does she give away everything that she doesn't need to live by? Because if she doesn't, then I don't think she can make that point, because one could say, well, I don't do that either, but at the same time, I'm not claiming to be perfect and not needing religion. I acknowledge I'm broken and I'm trying to do better, and part of me is like, I don't not giving away my money yet because I'm sure I'm living at home and I don't need it, but also at the same time, it's like, it's kind of good to have savings there for when you do move out of home and I don't actually have that much money and prices are rising and inflation's a thing and I'm terrified. And I'm still giving away a lot of it, like, on a daily basis. Like, I'm giving away 50% of my paycheck because I don't need the money, but I'm also still saving because if I wasn't, I would be an idiot because the world is changing and recession maybe happened or maybe ended, but inflation's increasing, private cost of living's going up, and I just want to be secure and make sure and once the secureness of, I also don't know what secure means, and I don't have knowledge of that, but I suppose secure would be able to support myself for 1 year, no extra help. And I definitely can't do that. I definitely can't do that. Like, even if cost of living hadn't gone up, I can't do that currently. But I'm still giving away money because, like, obviously I'm not going to need to do that for a while unless something dramatic happens, in which case, hopefully other things will be in place. But, like, I suppose that's where I'm at right now. But the moment that stops being where I'm at, and it's like, yeah, I'll probably start donating more money again and increase my donations again, but I also probably won't donate all of it because I don't want to be seen as a weirdo, because my family is very financially conscious and saving money, and I am too, and I'm actually trying to, that's the other thing I'm trying to do, is get better at spending it, because I'm still trying to get used to the fact that my family has money, and yeah, sure, like, you can see my room and you're like, oh, it's clear, and it's like, one, some of that stuff is new, and second of all, my family's always been comfortable, but there's a line between comfortable and secure, and we've always been safe. But if something ever went wrong, we might not have been, and we're just lucky that nothing ever went wrong. And I think that's something people need to realize, like, we're extremely lucky because nothing went wrong. Nothing went wrong. And a thousand things went wrong. And it's not even just that nothing went wrong, 1,000 things went right. But the fact that 1,000 things need to go right for us to move up in such a way maybe shows that our system is broken, and our system is broken. I'm extremely lucky and privileged. When I was younger, I wasn't so, but I am now. And I'm still getting used to it. So anyway, I don't know what I'm going to title this, but bye!